Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to this installment of the PlayStation 5 collection series. This is officially the third video showcasing my personal PlayStation 5 stash. So today we're going to be looking at games I picked up since the last video. It must have been 5 months since the last video in this particular series. Happy Independence Day, everybody. It is currently... let's see, 12:43 a.m. on the 4th of July. So, yeah, God bless America, man. But without further ado, let's start this video with the first game I want to talk about, and a game that I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about, and that is Gran Turismo 7. Now, the thing about Gran Turismo 7 that I absolutely adore is just the amount of realism meshed in with arcade-style racing gameplay and just an addictive loot box-esque gameplay loot system in which, like, you basically all the games have this, where you complete certain trials and the game will give you, in the case of this game, roulette tickets. So basically you make money off of those roulette tickets, and then you can expand your collection like that. So the more you grind, the more money you make in the game, the more cars you can buy. There's 400 cars to choose from. I have a particular Porsche in the game that cost me 1 million in-game credits to get, because I'm a big Porsche fan. Not a lot of you on this channel know that, and I'm not surprised because, I don't have the money to afford one and show one to you guys. So a lot of cool cars in this game, a lot of cool electric vehicles, a lot of cool hybrids, a lot of combustion engines, 400 different cars to choose from. Now, this is not as colorful as something like Forza or the Crew Motorfest. This is more F1-esque racing. There are a lot of beautiful natural tracks, but don't expect it to be like an explorable city. It's very from track to track. This game is all about the racing, and who knows, maybe it will be the drive of your life, as it says down here. Who knows, right? But definitely a must-play racing sim, and a testament to the technological advancement that Sony has come to with the release of PlayStation 5 back in 2020. Next up, we have a game that I saw on sale at Walmart, Ghostbusters: Spirits Unleashed. And I was in the mood to pick this up because I'd heard about this game, and I don't know why the movie got mixed reception, but I loved Ghostbusters Frozen Empire back when that came out. So I'm like, you know what, fuck it. This game might have come out in 2023, but I mean, I'm sure Frozen Empire must have revitalized this game, because a lot of these asymmetric horror games, they have very, very short lifespans. So it's like always a risk when you buy one of these. And unfortunately, in my case, the risk did not pay off. I could imagine this game being extremely fun at launch, back when it actually had a decent community, but every match, I would always get paired up with two AIs and a single player somewhere over yonder. Who knows even if that's even a real player, which was disappointing because the game looks beautiful, the gameplay is fun, the basically the way in which you trap the ghosts is extremely satisfying. You can actually play as the ghosts as well, which is also very fun to do. But the game lost most of its core audience, as most horror games do, after their first 6 months of release. By the way, that game's from the same developer who made the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game. So if you're planning on getting that game, I would just jump on it. I would pay the full 40, because the most you're going to get out of that game is another 6 or 7 months until that game's audience dies out, as it does with most horror games. I think the longest any horror game has lasted, from my personal experience, would be Friday the 13th. That game lasted for a while until they killed that off. Next up, we have The Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Yeah, I don't have my main camera on me today, so I've been forced to use this camera. So if you notice a difference, I'm sorry about that. But Prince of Persia: The Last Crown is a game that I've been wanting to get into. I saw it on sale at Best Buy for like 30 bones, so I'm like, you know what? I'll take the $20 off discount because I'd been itching to play this game. And honestly, guys, what's surprising is I got this game the same day I got Skull and Bones, and I got so invested in Skull and Bones, surprisingly. I'm saying surprisingly because the game did not get the best reception, that, I didn't really get into this game because I got lazy with it. But, it looks like a great Metroidvania, very challenging in the same vein of the original Prince of Persia games from back in the 90s. And the game looks absolutely gorgeous from like gameplay videos and review videos I've seen. So I'm definitely going to make sure to check it out as soon as I possibly can. Alright guys, next up we have Skull and Bones. Now, Skull and Bones is a game that honestly did not get the best reception. I'm not gonna lie. This game got terrible reception when it initially came out. This game was going through development hell. If you don't know what that terminology is, so basically in the gaming industry, development hell is when a game is in development for a very long time, delay after delay. Same thing happened with Duke Nukem Forever, Dead Island 2, Homefront: The Revolution, and many other titles in gaming history. But with Skull and Bones, it was actually initially supposed to be Assassin's Creed Black Flag Infinite, and then they decided to branch off from the Assassin's formula and kind of make it into its own game. It was initially supposed to be a smaller scale game, and they assumed that that kind of a game wouldn't have an audience. So essentially, this was basically, technically speaking, Sea of Thieves before Sea of Thieves. And I played it, and honestly, guys, there comes a wall where you really just don't know what to do afterwards. But like the first 30 hours I spent with this game was absolutely amazing. The only thing that I didn't like was how you'd gather resources through like a series of odd mini games. I thought that was kind of weird and kind of lazy. But keep in mind, this game is just the only thing modern about this game are the graphics. The game looks beautiful. But this game started development like 10, 11 years ago. And we finally got it. And, honestly, guys, I'm looking forward to updates, but Ubisoft has a tendency to abandon a lot of their failing projects, which this is one of. And now with, Sea of Thieves coming to PlayStation 5, it couldn't be a worse time to update this game. It's basically pointless. But the initial honeymoon period I had with this game, like the first 25 hours I had with this game, I absolutely enjoyed. I don't think this game got the love that it deserved. I don't think it's a bad game by any stretch. It had so much potential that, honestly, I just don't get it. Y'all had 10 years. You couldn't implement all that potential into this title. But yeah, I got it on a sale, got a lot of gameplay out of it, so I'm happy with it, but hopefully they decide to add more to it in the future. And as I said, with Ubisoft, probably not going to happen. Next up, we have a European copy of Dying Light 2. So basically the reason I got a European copy was because it was like cheaper to just get this than get it on the PlayStation Store. So I'm like, screw it. It was a US seller. It was like 30 bones for this game. So, a buddy of mine actually has Dying Light 2, and we were looking for a game to play together. I was honestly not too thrilled of the idea of getting into Dying Light 2 because essentially Dead Island and Dying Light, they come from the same initial developers. These two games have a lot in common. But for me, Dying Light has just always been Dead Island's drab cousin. Dead Island's emo cousin, because it lacks all the color and all the character that Dead Island has. So with this game, it ain't Dead Island 2, but it is very, very fun. The weapons, just the amount of variety you can get, weapons, skins. There's just a lot of cool aspects of this game. And in certain ways, this game does have more depth than Dead Island does. But if it was between this and Dead Island, I would just say stick to Dead Island. But a buddy of mine had it. I had my fun with it. It's a great game. I would recommend checking it out. But if you like all the character that Dead Island 2 has, don't expect to find a very similar game here, but also very different in the visual department. All right, lastly, we have Haunted House. So this was on sale on Amazon for like 15 bucks. And I was familiar with the fact that Haunted House actually initially started out life on arguably one of the first video game consoles, the Atari 2600. By the way, if you can hear fireworks popping in the background, you already know, fam. And, this is a franchise that has so much history to it from a company that, although a shell of its former self, has so much history to it. And, I spent 2 hours with this game. I'm not even gonna lie. I just think that Atari needs to make something more in depth. I'd rather have them work on one major project than put all their resources into these smaller projects. And the game has Atari Easter eggs and collectibles for Atari fans. And it's a fun arcadey horror game. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. But honestly, guys, with big players like Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, you would have expected basically one of the founding fathers of the video game industry, Atari, to level up by now, pun intended. But anyways, guys, those are all the games I got for PlayStation 5 as of late. For more videos, subscribe to LA Tech Trends here on YouTube, and thanks for watching. Take care, my friends. Bye.